At the city, Zizzy and Pony leave the safe place and go to look for more survivors, making their way to the carnival. Angry and determined to find Mr. P, Detective stops the train at a station near his carnival and makes their way inside, assuming that Mr. P is here. They set off to find him but found Clowny instead, running for their life once again. Detective grabs two keys from benches around the carnival and uses one to unlock a storage shed where they grab both a key to the circus tent and a plank. They open the tent gate and place the plank to get to the floating platform where they grab a wrench that's resting on it. They power up a door to a small building, believing Mr. P to be there. They then open a gate to the coaster, and Detective uses the wrench to power up the coaster so that it is no longer blocking the path to a water gun and a key to the cage. They then use the water gun at the carnival game to win a code to activate the small building door. And why? Why are you playing games? The code is right there. I mean, you did just lose another friend and you need to take your mind off it, but still, no one will stop you. Well, maybe Clowny. Anyway, they make their way to the Ferris wheel where they grab another safe key. They then make their way to a small mirror room where they unlock the safe and take a mallet, which they use to break open a mallet hitter game where they get a hammer. Detective then breaks the boards off the door and goes to open the cage only to find Foxy, though he doesn't attack Detective. Detective sneaks by and grabs the key to open the door. Detective barges into the door ready to confront Mr. P, only to find Pony and Zizzy. Pony's shocked to see Detective but doesn't say it, instead questioning if Detective was infected. Zizzy reminds him that infected don't talk, with Pony replying that he knew that. Zizzy then introduces them to Detective. Detective does the same and questions why they are there. Zizzy responds that they are looking for survivors and that they have a safe place. Foxy is then drawn to the noise, then appears behind Detective, which Pony thinks is his friends. Zizzy immediately realizes that isn't infected and Pony quickly stuns Foxy. Detective thanks Pony and Zizzy suggests that they head back to their place as the carnival is too dangerous. As Georgie sleeps in the mall, Tio decides to manipulate him in his dreams. In Georgie's dream, he is in his old home, but it's not quite right. He starts his dream off by waking up from a nightmare. He then asks if Penny is awake, but gets no reply. He goes out of his room to look for Penny, but finds a colorless pig with a bat in his house. He makes his way downstairs to get a key to unlock the shed in his backyard. In it, he grabs a key to a ground floor storage room and a hammer. He makes his way to the storage room and gets a key to a cell door from it. He then opens the cell door, which holds a safe and a wrench. He grabs the wrench along with the key nearby. They power up the door along with breaking the boards and disable a laser gate which had a toy dino and a safe key in it. He uses the key to unlock the safe and take a code to the door. He would then use another key to unlock the downstairs basement where he grabs a plank and breaks open a boarded off crawl space leading into another cell. He grabs the toy robot inside and rushes upstairs to place the plank to get across a gap to a strange altar. He places the two toys he had on the altar, which gave him the key to the front door. After getting out, Georgie finds Penny. She doesn't respond, however, and Georgie asks if she is okay. Penny still doesn't respond and walks away into a black mist. Georgie hollers for her to come back, but suddenly falls ill. His eyes begin turning red, and he wants it to stop, but can't do anything about it. He then wakes up in the mall breathing heavily. He then decides to get out of the mall. Detective, Zizzy, and Pony get to a high building overlooking Lucella City. Pony then points where the safe place is, and Zizzy says the other people there will be surprised to see another survivor. Unfortunately, the gate is fortified and they have to find items around the city to disable the security. The city still has infected as Ellie and Grandma chase the group. Zizzy fights off Ellie while Grandma is too slow to do anything, so Pony just waits by the gate. Nice. Detective runs along the corridor between the two center buildings and grabs a keycard. They then enter the hotel building and unlock the pool room to get another card. They make their way upstairs to the second floor to open a room where they find a wrench. They use the wrench to power up the gate then enter Ellie's business building where they find another card along with a safe key and plank from the back part of an upstairs room. They then make their way down to a room that had a safe where they open it to find a carrot. They then make their way back to the hotel and give Pony the carrot so he has enough strength to break a wood board on the gate. Detective continues to the hotel and up to the third floor and opens a rather poorly maintained room that had yet another card in it. Detective then goes back to the business building up the stairs to open the door and get TNT and blows up Grandma's poutine shop. I mean, blow open the door to get a fire extinguisher. Moving on. Detective puts out the fire by the gate and goes up the hotel stairs again to the roof, where they put down a plank to get to the roof of the business building, where they put out a fire to get access to the code for the gate. They then get down and find a picture of Mrs. P under a car and take it with them. They then open the gate with Zizzy and Pony following. Zizzy asks Detective what they did before the infection started. Detective responds they were a police officer looking for someone. Then asks Zizzy and Pony the same thing. Pony says he was trying to become an optometrist like his father, and Zizzy was a fencing coach who also taught her sisters. She also expresses how relieved she is that they are safe. Pony feels the same, but Zizzy asks Detective how they got to the carnival and mentioned Mr. P. Detective explains that Mr. P was giving out potions that turned people into infected and that they needed to stop him. Zizzy suggests that Detective stays with them for a bit, but is interrupted by Georgie, who fell from behind a dumpster. Though Detective, Zizzy, and Pony don't know that. Pony questions what that was, and Detective responds that they think someone is watching them and goes to check it out, followed by Zizzy. Pony decides to stay at the safe place and wishes them luck. Mr. P's helicopter lands at the outpost, and Mr. P and the research team quickly make their way into the underground plant. Some researchers thought it was a good place to continue research as the plant has some ingredients to the cure. The research team helped armor up Mr. P into a cyborg to defend against the infected. Badgie was unfortunately infected when he came into contact with some of Substance 128. With this, the last of the research team are gone and Mr. P is alone, still being manipulated by Tio. Detective and Zizzy pursue Georgie.
Detective and Zizzy pursue Georgie into the mall, and Detective questions why their mysterious figure would hide there. Detective and Zizzy enter the mall and are greeted by a violent, reprogrammed mall robot. While Zizzy fights off the robot, Detective finds a key that goes to a clothing store housing a key to the arcade. Detective opens the door, which they see the exit key and a claw machine requiring 2 coins. They leave, grabbing a key and a plank nearby. Detective places the plank to gain access to an appliance store containing a key to the bank. In the bank is a blocked-off vault, only secured by a laser. The bank also has a safe key, which has a wrench inside. Detective uses the wrench to power off a blocked door on the top floor, where they assume the mysterious figure is. Detective finds a blocked-off area and realizes they need to get in from the vent. They crawl into a nearby vent, where they are surprised to see a legless, infected mouse patrolling the vent. Detective eventually breaks open the vent, covering to the room, and acquire a crowbar and a keycard. They break the boards on the locked door and bust open an ATM with 1 coin in it. You'd think there's more, but no, just 1. Anyway, Detective goes to use the keycard on what looks like a microwave to get a mirror inside. Why is there a mirror in a microwave? Moving on, Detective uses the mirror to disable the laser on the vault to get the other coin. They then use the coins on the claw machine to unlock the door after Zizzy is done turning the robot into scrap metal. Zizzy enters, saying the mysterious figure to show themselves, only for Detective to realize it's Georgie. Georgie is frightened that Detective knows his name and asks who he is. Detective says who they are and introduces Zizzy. She asks Detective if they know Georgie, and Detective explains that they have been looking for Georgie and asks why he ran off. Georgie explains that after his family got back from the hospital, they started acting weird and scary. He then says that they went to Lucella City to look for his grandma, but everyone else was scared, so he hid in the mall protected by a psycho robot. Zizzy assures that Georgie will be safe with them, and Georgie asks if he will see his family again. Detective, knowing full well the Piggy family is gone, and that Georgie is now an orphan, tells him that they will find who did this. Detective, Zizzy, and Georgie then head back to the safe place and are greeted by Pony, Susie, and Z. Zizzy introduces Detective and Georgie to the twins, and Susie makes fun of Detective. Pony interrupts, saying they tracked a helicopter nearby, and Detective immediately knows it's Mr. P. He says he needs to go have a chat with them. Yeah, right. Pony and Zizzy agree to go alone, with Susie complaining that they just got back. Zizzy tells that they won't be there for long, and says to take care of Georgie. Detective then encourages Pony and Zizzy to get going.
My apologies for that interruption. Let us continue. Georgie would convince Zuzi and Z to play hide and seek while he snuck out after them. As the group made their way to where the signal came from, they find the military outpost. Pony confirms this is where the signal came from, and Zizzy saying they're going in. They make their way in, and Pony gets a bad feeling. The outpost is swarmed with soldiers and torture. Zizzy takes care of the soldiers with ease, but they all stay away from torture. Detective makes their way to the other side of the outpost and grabs a key from the cafe to gain access to the catwalk, where they grab 2 keys. They then make their way down to ground floor where they unlock a barracks and grab yet another key to the command building. They enter the command building and grab a wrench from a room in the back and a safe key from upstairs. They then open a med bay building with the key they got earlier and open the safe inside to get a fire extinguisher. They put out the fire at the entrance to the plant along with powering the door and make their way back to the catwalk to put out another fire to get gas to fuel a nearby tank to run over a wire fence. They then go back to the cafe, disable the laser gate to the kitchen, and get a tank shell. Why is there a tank shell in the kitchen? Moving on. They put the shell into the tank and blow up a door to a briefing room where they grab a key card to open the plant entrance. Detective says to Zizzy and Pony this is where Mr. P is, and Zizzy questions if they are ready to face what is in there. Suddenly, Georgie appears behind them asking them to wait. Pony was under the impression that Zuzi and Z were supposed to be watching him. Georgie responds that he convinced them to play hide and seek. Detective asks why he followed them, and Georgie responds that he wanted to see who was responsible for infecting his family. Pony notices that Georgie drew a lot of infected soldiers to their position, and Zizzy tells Detective to take Georgie with them into the plant while she and Pony hold off the horde of infected soldiers. Detective tells Georgie to stay close to them and they make their way inside. Pony then tells Zizzy that if they don't make it out, he wanted to tell her something, but Zizzy cuts him off saying she already knows. Detective and Georgie make their way deeper into the plant and find a now cyborg Mr. P standing on a walkway who appears to be talking to himself, saying he has become a disaster along with trying to make things better, but made them worse. Detective then shouts at him they are going to stop him. Mr. P, having been manipulated by Tio, can't believe what he's seeing, believing Detective to be gone. He claims Detective and Georgie aren't real and that his mind is playing tricks on him and the people he let down are haunting him. Georgie asks Detective what Mr. P is talking about, but Mr. P turns around saying they are both dead and continues deeper into the plant. Detective says to Georgie they need to go after him. Mr. P finally stops and confronts Detective and Georgie. He calls them just as stubborn as he was when he tried to save Mrs. P. To stop the same thing from happening to him, he decided to stop Detective and Georgie before that happened and loads his arm cannon. Detective tells Georgie they need to find a way to snap Mr. P out of his trance, but Georgie is occupied fighting Badgie while Detective goes to find something. They take 2 keycards from the opposite side of the large room containing a machine that held 2 liquids on either side of it. They use one of the cards to open a room with 4 structures connected by suspended see-through walkways. 2 of the structures are locked, so Detective looks through the other 2 to find keys to unlock them. They find a key that goes to the lower section of a locked structure where they find the other key along with a battery. They unlock the last structure and take another battery nearby. They use the batteries to open a container holding a purple vial and make their way to the opposite side of the plant and open another door with the second card. They go around a large reactor and into a room where they find a safe key. They then make their way down and open a safe containing a plank that they use to get across a suspicious sewer liquid and grab a hammer. They use the hammer to break a boarded off room with bright green crystals on its stone walls. Detective takes a green vial at the end of the room and makes their way back to the room containing the machine and put the two vials on pedestals to open the machine. They take TNT from the opening and place it in the middle of the large room. The shockwave sends Detective Mr. P and Badgie into an illusion of a distorted version of the plant with entrances to the cave from the forest, cafe from the school, carnival, and metro. Ghosts of both Doggy and Bunny can be seen throughout the illusion. Mr. P continues to chase Detective. Detective finds a coin from the carnival area and goes to the metro area, remembering that there is a vending machine there. The machine there requires 2 coins to get a mallet. Detective finds a lit torch in the room and goes to the cave to get a safe key. They then go to the school and open the safe key to get their second coin. They return to the metro and get the mallet, quickly making their way to the carnival area where they get a picture of Mrs. P. Detective had the real picture, so they gave it to Mr. P, finally snapping him out of Tia's trance and bringing everyone out of the illusion. Mr. P then gets on his hands and knees and apologizes, explaining that he left the hospital after he thought Detective was infected. He explained how the researchers helped to protect him, but there was nothing that could protect him from his own mistakes. Georgie angrily exclaims that now Mr. P knows that they are real and demands to know what he did with his family. Mr. P tells him they wanted to help him with his research, but Georgie interrupts him, saying he took them away and hurt them. Georgie then threatens to turn Mr. P into tomorrow's dinner, but Detective stops him, saying if he does, he is no better than Mr. P, adding on that it would turn Georgie into what he hates the most about Mr. P. Georgie acknowledges this, and Mr. P tells them they need to leave and that it is no longer safe at the plant. Detective agrees, saying the place is infested. Mr. P tells them he will fight the infected until he dies, claiming it's time for him to redeem himself. Detective wishes Mr. P luck, and Georgie turns to head back to Zizzy and Pony. He then asks Detective if they are going with. Detective hesitates, then goes to Mr. P one last time. Mr. P wants to tell Detective his story, but fear they won't believe him. Detective responds, saying that they need to know. Mr. P tells them they must leave after, as there is very little time. He ends his story, and Detective thanks him for telling him and promises they won't forget him. Mr. P wishes Detective and Georgie luck, and they make their way out to where Zizzy and Pony demolish the horde of infected soldiers. Pony welcomes them back, saying they took care of the infected, and asks what happened to them. Detective explains that Mr. P isn't a threat anymore, and Zizzy congratulates them. Pony ruins the moment by asking what to do now. Georgie answers, asking if they should look for the cure. They then head back to the safe place to share with the others. Across the North Sea, the military makes plans to go after patient Zero, Mrs. P, but are unable to find her, instead finding Penny. They bring her over the sea and into Outpost Echo, where they begin doing tests to make a cure, many scientists scolding Mr. P for making them fix his problems. Willow learns of this through her radio at Settlement 6 and writes in her journal when she finds William, she will take him across the North Sea to where they will be safe. At this time, Daisy is also transferred to Outpost Echo to guard it. Tia learns of the attempt at the cure and sends some of the infected across the sea to start infecting that side of the sea, along with reinforcements from Doveport. Nearby, Kona digs into an ancient site, this time an old temple. He is worried the government will find out, but continues on. He does some research on the infection and looks through some personal files. He then figures out that infected with green eyes are more independent, but unfortunately can't figure out much on the orange eye infected. But he finds out they travel in packs and go long distances in the blink of an eye. Outpost Echo has had positive results from their experiments and find that Penny is less aggressive than before and intend to notify their headquarters. Soon after they develop a cure which alarms Tio, he immediately sends many infected over to Outpost Echo, catching it by surprise. Outpost Echo then initiates an evacuation order which has some of the scientists suspicious of a corrupt military. The soldiers in the front don't stand a chance and are attacked before they can reach a radio. Daisy is among the soldiers attacked and later infected. The remaining people in Outpost Echo attempt to hide as the infected go deeper into the lab. Penny is set free and some scientists attempt to flee through the vents but to no avail. The military have difficulty stopping the infected as the bombs they use are having little effect on the hordes of infected, and with Outpost Echo going quiet, the soldiers are forced to wait for orders. A ship named the Medora takes off after reports of the infection spread, unaware that the infected are already on board. The crew, including Kenneth, who takes safety seriously, Pepper, who takes his job very seriously, and Bobby, whose main concern is his family. Bobby makes out the words "don't" in Doveport from a transmission via radio, but intends to keep listening. The infected make themselves known, and the captain of the ship, Budgie, orders the infected and anyone suspected to be infected thrown overboard. The crew oblige and begin tossing them over. Bobby unfortunately gets scratched and is noticed by Pepper. He reports the incident but is too late. The infection spreads inside and Pepper and another crewmate, Archie, are infected. Budgie and Kenneth are all that are left until Kenneth is attacked. Budgie is able to get out from the inside before Kenneth makes a last-ditch effort to seal off the ship so that no more infected can get out. Budgie then writes an apology letter to the crew and turns the ship towards Susa's side of the sea. At the safe place, Detective snaps out of a flashback with Georgie, Zuzi, and Z playing a game of tag. Detective, still confused, asks where, with Mimi answering if they remember a radio they got during a supply run. Detective asks if Minnie can get it working, and she responds they need batteries. Zizzy tells Detective she and Pony are going to the store to get batteries, and asks Detective if they are going with. Detective says sure, and they head out. Mimi and Giraffe make a bet on when the group will return. Mimi bet before noon, Giraffe afternoon. As they enter the store, Zizzy reminds Detective and Pony that they are here for batteries and leaving. Pony agrees but says he will take any carrots he finds, hoping they aren't expired. Unfortunately, they find Dessa in the parking garage and need to make the trip a little bit faster. They find a key to open the store door and make their way inside. Pony rushes to the back but is blocked by a shelf, claiming he could move it out of the way if he had energy. Detective grabs another key and opens a gardening room where they grab yet another key to open a lounge area where they get, you guessed it, another key to Gorilla Airways, where they find a carrot for Pony. He pushes the shelf out of the way and Detective continues deeper into the store where they find a remote control and scissors. They run around the store, disabling TV monitors to unlock a safe to get another safe key. They open the safe at Gorilla Airways and get a ladder. How does a ladder fit in there? Anyway, they use the ladder to get to the second floor of the storage area where they get one of the two batteries they need. They then go back to the gardening room where they cut some of the grass until they find another safe key. They return to the lounge area and open the safe there and get the last battery. They then give them to Zizzy and the group makes their way out. They return to the safe place and meet Mimi and Giraffe where they have the radio. Mimi greets them, telling Giraffe she won the bet. Giraffe acknowledges and agrees to cook for the rest of the week. Detective tells them they got the batteries and asks if the radio is ready. Mimi says it is and encourages to get it working. Z eavesdrops on the conversation nearby. The batteries are placed in and Mimi turns on the radio. She begins to talk into the radio, asking if anyone can hear her. Giraffe questions if the radio is working, only for the signal to be picked up from Settlement 6, with Willow most likely on the other side. Will asks who this is, and Mimi responds this is the safe place, and asks how she can help. Willow responds they are looking for communities to trade with, and would like to meet up. Mimi asks where they would like to meet up, and Willow responds with the old oak. The signal dies, and Mimi wants to meet them as they haven't seen another survivor for months. Pony doesn't agree, saying they know nothing about them. Giraffe asks if this is another joke, but Pony says it isn't, and they have no idea who they are or if they can be trusted. Zizzy agrees that they shouldn't trust them, but it's still a good idea to check it out. Pony is shocked, reiterating they don't know them. Zizzy reminds him they know how to handle themselves and know how to get out of trouble. Detective agrees, reminding Zizzy and Pony they fought off an army of infected by themselves. Pony finally gives up but still doesn't think it's a good idea. Zizzy gets excited to get going but asks who will be staying. Giraffe is staying to get as much food as he can for the winter, and Mimi is staying to see if she can learn more about the radio. Zizzy exclaims it's the three of them again, and Detective encourages them to get going. Willow, along with Tigry, Baron, Pandy, and Kitty, make their way to the old oak as fast as they can and wait to ambush Detective, Zizzy, and Pony. As the group of three get there, they don't see anyone, and Pony questions if this is the right place, as they haven't seen anyone. Willow recognizes the voice and steps out of hiding along with the other TSP members and greets them. Pony immediately knows this is bad, with Willow walking up to him and mocking him, saying how he was a good friend but is worth nothing now. She then walks up to Detective and reminds them how they took Willow away from her family and mocks him, saying it must have felt good. She then turns to Zizzy and asks who she is, as they have never met. Zizzy responds she knows a lot about Willow and TSP. Willow assumes Pony told Zizzy about them and that he could never keep his mouth shut. Willow then ponders aloud what to do and decides to take Zizzy with them back to Settlement 6 and leave Detective and Pony. Pony objects, telling her to leave Zizzy alone, and moves towards Willow, but she pulls out her gun, telling him to back off, and she doesn't want to hurt anyone, claiming she is taking Zizzy for questioning. Zizzy promises Pony she will stay safe and come back. Willow taunts Pony, saying Zizzy understands, then orders the rest of TSP to head back to Settlement 6. Pony is shocked that Zizzy left, but then tells Detective about TSP and how he needed a group after the infection broke out. He continues on, saying while he was there he did some awful things, but he was scared to leave. Detective asks what made them leave, and Pony says it's a story for another time, but they still need to save Zizzy. Detective asks if they should go tell the others at the safe place, but Pony says there isn't time and that he needs Detective now more than ever, and he can't save Zizzy alone. Detective agrees, and they follow the TSP members back to Settlement 6. Zizzy is then put in a room with infected, including Polly. After Willow got to Settlement 6, she would return to the factory, seemingly to plan out what she will do about Detective now that she knows they are alive.